We will now call the Committee of the Whole together, Tuesday, January 15, 2008 at 5:30 p.m. Welcome everybody to our very first meeting in the new year, and I'm so glad to be back here. I'm not going to say I'm glad to be back to work, because we've been back to work, but it's glad to be back to the first committee whole of the new year. First item on the agenda, the December 11th, 2007 minutes, tab 1. I'll entertain a motion for approval. Oh, you know, I didn't do roll call. I apologize.
You got too excited.
I'm excited for the first meeting back. We have with us Councilwoman Nazi Sierra, Vice Mayor John Burgess, Councilwoman Wendy Lobos, Councilman Melvin McCormick, and Councilwoman Judy Waldman, and myself. Welcome. December 11th, 2007 minutes, tab 1. I move. They've been properly moved.
Second. Seconded.
And seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. The ayes carry. Item B, intergovernmental agreement electing to use uniform method standards of collecting non-ad valorem special assessments, tab 2.
Mayor and Council, it's staff's recommendation that the City Council authorize the City Manager to sign an intergovernmental cooperation agreement with Miami-Dade County for the purpose of using the uniform method of collection for collecting non-ad valorem assessments or special assessments for stormwater, solid waste services, recycling, and hurricane recovery fee. Basically, right now everyone gets this in their monthly mail along with their electric bill. What we're doing is the services just mentioned, stormwater, solid waste, recycling, and the hurricane recovery fee beginning in 2009 would be collected through the property tax methodology. You would pay 1 year actually in advance. When you pay your property taxes, this would be attached to the property taxes. You would not get this in your monthly bill. And Dade County does that, and they will do the collection for us for residential property only, not apartment complexes, because we have some issues with our folio numbers with the county and us matching these apartment houses. For us, this is an advantage, you know, that we don't have to go into the collection business for some of these items. It just is attached to the property itself.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Manager. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move it with questions.
It's been properly moved by Vice Mayor.
Second.
And seconded by Councilwoman Sierra. Yes, Mr. Burgess.
Kurt, I was just wondering, with the situation that we have down here and people struggling, some people struggling time to time, have we done a good look at this to make sure that it's going to be feasible for the majority of the residents of this area, and that it's not going to be a burden to them, that the people that live from check to check and having to pay that one lump sum for whatever it be isn't going to put too much of a burden on them?
Well, this will be, they live in their house, and the owners of the property will pay it's like an assessment at the time, like you pay your property taxes. I think for the people on an individual week-to-week basis won't have to deal, or month-to-month basis rather, won't have to deal with making that payment. It'll just be absorbed into the property taxes of the house methodology of payment. So monthly, no one's going to have to pay that bill. That'll be subtracted from the current bill you get.
Right. I was just wondering, you know, if we put another, just use $300 for one time, you know, and whenever the taxes come due or whatever the average bill would be for the citizens, I'm not sure exactly what the number would be. You know, is that going to be too much for some of our citizens down here to take at one time where, you know, they can work out, say, $20 a month a little easier? I mean, I'm in favor of this. I'm just, you know, looking at it in that,
well, I think
in a numbers game.
There's a couple of issues here. One, there's a possibility of that, but I think that if they own the houses, and it's people who own the houses where the tax is, that this will not be too much of a burden on the tax, especially when the other side of it, the ad valorem, is going down. But to be collected with that, and it also helps the city as well in saving money for the city, which in turn helps us in dealing with the services to the community, in that we're not chasing those items around to be paid.
But let's be clear, we're not discussing an increase. We're just,
and I know that
it's just a method.
I'm just wondering, you know, if we give somebody that 3 or 4, 200, whatever the lump sum is, you know, a lot of people down here, and the manager spoke to me about how many delinquent electric accounts we have down here already, and I'm just wondering, you know, obviously people are living stretched, And I'm just wondering, maybe that $300 at the end of the, at one lump sum might mean a lot to some families down there, so I just wanted to make sure we took a look at that.
I would defer to maybe to Jan on this, but I think if somebody owns their house, what happens is it's going to be paid monthly as part of their escrow for taxes and insurance, because it's going to appear as part of a lump sum on their tax bill. So for those people who escrow money for their taxes monthly, and I believe this is correct, that it would be included on their bill. So it wouldn't be like they were paying the lump sum. For those people who have some different, it would affect them as you explained. But I think for the majority, I'm going to call it the regular person, for the person who's paying a mortgage every month and escrowing taxes, I think would be paid in 12 installments over the period.
Thank you. Okay. Any further questions or comments?
Mayor Bell, I have a question, if I may. Mr. Ivey, it wasn't clear on the summary whether we were going to absorb the 2% collection fee as part of the city budget, or is this something that's going to be passed on to the residents?
No, we will be absorbing it. There's an administrative fee up to 2% that the county would collect, but basically what it costs us in billing and tracking and trying to get payment is more than that. We go more than 2%.
Thank you.
Bill?
Yes, Ms. Waldman?
I know I talked to the manager about this as well, and I was amazed that 2/3 of our utility bills are late.
At any one time, about 2/3 are over the 30-day.
Over 30 days. So, I was doing some calculations, and I think by the time that we let the county take it over, up to the 2%, we'll be able to put that money in an account and gain interest. So, I think we can recapture that fee, and I think probably a lot of the people who are late are non-homeowners, so the landlords would ultimately be responsible.
Correct.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes carry. Thank you very much. Item D, the first lease amendment for Greater Homestead, Florida City Chamber of Commerce, tab 4.
Did we do 2 and 3 together? Did I miss that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're related, that's why.
Yeah.
It's just the resolution approving the uniform method of collecting.
I'll move that, Mayor.
It's been properly moved. Well, seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes carry. And that's item C, obviously, we're referring to there. Okay. Correct. Now, the lease amendment on the Greater Homestead, Florida City Chamber of Commerce, item D.
Mayor, Council, this is the first lease amendment with the city of Greater Homestead, Florida City Chamber of Commerce, Inc. Currently, they're located on Chrome Avenue in the old City Hall building, and now they're moving over to the Lily Lawrence Bow Library. Basically, it's a 5-year lease. It's a $1 a year like they pay now, and only what they're doing is moving from one location to another that we have there, and I think everybody's real happy about it.
I have to say, I drove by there, and it looks fantastic. It is just beautiful. Everybody needs to go take a look over there, and I can't wait to get inside of it. I mean, it is so nice, and it's going to be a real pleasure for the community, and I'm sure it's going to be a real pleasure for the chamber, and no stairs, have to go up and down. I'm telling you, it's going to be great. That's right, no stairs for those who have broken feet or ankles or whatever. So very, very good. So we're very pleased. I think it's going to be a real asset to the community, and the work on it has been just really, really beautiful, top notch. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move it.
It's been properly moved. Second. And seconded. Any further comments or questions from council?
Not at this time.
All in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes carry. Thank you. Item E, Safe Neighborhood Park Grants, tab 5.
Mayor, Council, this is a recommendation that we accept a grant award of $220,000 from the Safe Neighborhood Parks Grant Funds for a boundless playground at Roscoe Warren Municipal Park, which will be ADA accessible. And we are going to do Roscoe Warren Park, and we expect it to be in this millennium. So this is a good thing here as part of the grants for the playground, and some of you'll see how it's been designed. it's very nice, going to be a very nice park.
I'll move it, Mayor.
Part of it.
It's been properly moved and seconded. I'm very excited about this as well. This is, we need to see this park come to fruition, so this is a good thing for the city.
Mayor Bell, I do have a question.
Yes, Ms. Lobos?
Keeping in mind with what City Manager just said, I just want to know, is this grant, does it have a timeline? I mean, are we going to be in jeopardy of losing the grant because of how slow we're moving it with Warren Park?
Well, I hope not. That's always, I won't say definitively no, that we won't have a chance of doing that. But we think that we have the wrap into Durham, and we're hoping that will get completed by Durham, and that's been our biggest issue, and we'll start construction as soon after as possible.
Tell them what RAP means.
Remedial Action Plan.
Thank you.
I was going to say that before, but I couldn't remember it. It came to me, though, in the nick of time. But, yes, it's a remedial action plan, and that has been submitted. And they required us to do something we haven't had to do before for Durham, and that is we had to design the whole park and show them the design before. Remember, it was an old dump site. It's going to have to be reclaimed. So because of that, we hadn't had to do this before, but we had to do the whole park design. We really could have started before that in prior times, but this time we had to do the whole design, send it in, let them look at it, and see if it fits in our remedial action plan. So.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes carry. Thank you. Next item is the Department of Homeland Security UASI Program, tab 6. Let me entertain a motion, and then we'll have discussion.
I move it.
I'll second. It's been properly moved and seconded. Mr. Manager?
Mayor and Council, this is a grant award from actually the U.S. Department of Homeland Security Office of Domestic Preparedness. It's for $30,000, and we applied for it for our water treatment facilities that can be allowed for infrastructure there to improve in security, such as cameras, concrete barriers, and other infrastructure. So we chip away at it every chance we get.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from council?
Nope.
All in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes carry. Thank you. Item G, Children's Trust Service Partnership Grant, tab 7. Let me entertain a motion for approval. Move approval.
I move it.
It's been properly moved by Councilman Lobos. Second. And seconded by Ms. Sierra. Mr. Manager?
Mayor and Council, this is a grant that we received through the Children's Trust Service Partnership Grant, and we're in partnership with Project SOS, Mujer, and Project Esperanza. This is not the first year we've received this. This is an ongoing project, and we do have the people from SOS. Becky Gibbs, do you mind standing up a second? I know you love that.
Thank you.
I would just like to say that this is just one of several grants that they work with, and what they do for social services in the community is incredible. And it really has been a real banner program, and they continue to get funded every year. So I think that's a testimony to how well they do, and many people in the social service area will know SOS. When you hear it down here, it's been a tremendous program. The amount is $1,092,735.30. We'll fund 9 full-time contractual positions and 1 part-time clinical supervisor.
Thank you. I can attest to the work that this department does as well. I've seen it firsthand, and they really do reach so many people within the community who have such needs. And some of the victims that are kind of forgotten, the children very often of parents who don't do very good things. So these families are serviced very well by our SOS department.
Well, it is, and one other thing, its inception came out of doing the police work and running into situations where law enforcement couldn't handle the situation they were confronted with, but know that it would cause them to come back out or there'd be further problems. And this is where SOS picks up. It's where it started, and then now it's really blossomed into more proactive than just reactive. And Sandy Nanny runs it. She's done a great job. We got a lot of long-term employees there that have done an excellent job, and pretty much unsung in the community, but definitely do a great job.
Thank you, Kurt. Any comments or questions from council?
I just want to say thank you for the wonderful work you do. It's very important to all of us.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And the ayes carry. Item H, Our Kids Grant Amendment, tab 8.
Mayor, I want to approve that first.
I'll entertain a motion for a move approval.
I'll move it. I'll second it.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Mr. Manager?
Mayor and Council, again, this is another grant, which will, from Our Kids of Miami-Dade to the PD through SOS, that will fund 2 full-time caseworkers, 2 part-time family therapists, and these are refunded positions. Actually, it's a 6-month extension to what we already have. And this goes to show again how valuable this program is, because if there is money left at the end of going toward the end of the term of that grant, the extra money, we get a good share of that extra money coming down to us because they know it's going back to their buck.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from council?
I have one question.
Yes, Mr. McCormick.
As far as employment for the 4 positions, what requirements are necessary as far as education and experience?
Well, these really are probably, I would, and I have SOS here that can get up and correct me on this, but they're not really new people. They're ongoing, and we fund it year after year through here. Counselors, people with health backgrounds. Sandy, anything else that...
We have different positions. We have natural helpers, people in the community that aren't required to have anything except for high school diploma. And we go all the way up to professionals to licensed mental health therapists.
And that's for these 4 positions, that's the 2 full-time and 2 part-time.
They have a bachelor's in social work.
All right, thank you.
Answer your question, Mr. McCormick?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions from council?
Great job.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. And the ayes carry. Item I, Data Pros, Utility Bill Printing and Mailing Services. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I move it.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Lobos and seconded by Ms. Sierra. Mr. Manager?
Mayor and Council, this is a contract amendment, or basically renewal of an existing contract that was, the amendment was required because we've obtained more accounts than we started out with. And this company prints our utility bills. We found this to be a very good outsource for us. We piggybacked off of Okaloosa Gas District for this, and we've outsourced all our printing of our utility bills. A lot more flexibility, being able to, the language, being able to put more information in stuffers, those kinds of things that we didn't have the way we did. We didn't have that capability to the extent that they do.
Mayor Bell?
Yes.
I just want to say I remember when we did this, and it was a huge decision at the time to go outside of our customer service to do this procedure, but there's no price difference, and I think they've done a really, really good job, so I have no problem with it.
Yes.
There is an offset for labor that we originally had that we don't have now as well, and paying this as an extra.
Right.
So,
okay.
Instead of doing it in-house.
Any further comments or questions from council? All in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes carry. Item J, Jacksonville Energy Authority, tab 10. I'll entertain a motion for approval, please.
I'll move it.
It's been properly moved.
Second.
And seconded. Mr. Manager?
Mayor and Council, staff recommendation that we authorize city manager to enter into a transmission service agreement with the Jacksonville Energy Authority. Basically, this is a transmission agreement that would allow us to bring energy or transport energy, because the city buys probably close to, Ken, correct me here, about 80%. So approximately it differs from, but approximately 80% of the energy that we sell, we buy and produce the rest. This is an agreement to use these transmission lines as needed, and so we don't spend any money unless we need it. And opening up transmission pathways are beneficial to us in bringing in purchased electric. So.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from council? All in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes carry. Item K, Cargo Power Markets LLC, tab 11.
I'll move it.
Been properly moved.
Second.
And seconded. Mr. Manager? kind of along the same lines here?
Well, this is a purchase
Of the power.
and sell agreement as opposed to a transmission, but yes, these are common standard markets that are available, and we use them as needed. They're not firm, but as
To
needed.
purchase our energy.
That's correct. Purchase energy and sell.
Any comments or questions from council? Nope. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes carry. Item L, Rainbow Energy Marketing Corporation.
I move it.
Tab 12, properly moved. Second. And seconded.
Mayor and council, this is the same as Cargill. Is a sell agreement to sell and purchase electric.
Comments or questions from council? All in favor, say aye. Aye. And the ayes carry. Under 3, Education Committee, Councilwoman Sierra.
Mayor, basically I asked to increase the number of education committee members to 15.
We know how you feel.
And from 11 to 15, and the reason why I'm requesting this of council is because we have a number of schools that really need assistance. We also have many different citizens that are interested in participating in the education committee, and so that we are able to meet with the demands and the needs of all the schools that we would like to work with. That's why I'm requesting the increase of committee members.
I'll move it.
Second it.
Ms. Sarah, you can ask for a motion for...
Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the ayes
Motion carries.
Thank you. Finance Committee, Councilwoman Lobos, tab 14.
Association President.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and council, I will allow the city manager to do the background, and then I'll add my comments to that.
Need a motion.
So we start, I'm sorry. Can I have a motion for bid 200720, please?
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Mr. Ivey?
Councilwoman Lobos, Mayor and Council, this is a bid and evaluations recommendation to award Project 1 of the bid, of the numbered bid here, to Prim Industrial, which involves painting the parts of the wastewater treatment plant, the pipes, and some of the filter areas. The reason I'm making that distinction because Phase 2 was to do the sequential batch section. Those are the 4 big ones with the big walls, and painting that was going to be Project 2, which we decided to hold off on and wait. Project 1 we'll do other structures there in the wastewater treatment plant that we will use FEMA funds because we had damage during the hurricane, and FEMA had awarded us money to paint the facility. So Project 1 or Phase 1 is funded by FEMA. It's a reimbursement funding. So we pay it out first, then we send in the invoices and reimburse the paint the facility.
Thank you. And then just to add to that, Mayor and Council, my questions were about reimbursement. To be certain, the initial payment will come from the operating funds. And these operating funds, we weren't planning on using them until the end of the year. So it allows us time to wait for the reimbursement to come back from FEMA. And I would also like to point out, to put it on public record, that the reimbursement from FEMA will be in the amount of $58,674. The expenditure for this is $56,720, so we will be keeping a close eye because we cannot have too many change orders. The difference between what we're going to spend and what FEMA will reimburse us is in the amount of $1,000, $954. So I made that comment to staff and the city manager that the change orders will have to be minimal.
Very good.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Carried. Next item.
Okay, next item is bid 200801 for landscaping maintenance. Mr. Ivey, can you give the background on this again, please?
Yes. This is the evaluation committee recommended awarding the bid for landscaping maintenance in the city to be awarded to SFM Services. When we say maintenance to landscape maintenance in the city, we're referring to city facilities, such as City Hall, cutting the lawn, and maintaining here, parks, facilities, our common areas, roadways, medians, and alleyways. and the committee had chosen SFM Services to be the lowest, most responsive bidder.
I'll move it.
I'll second it with the question. Ms. Lopez?
Yes, thank you. If I can just have a little bit more, I'll introduce some more to add to information that the city manager has given. It is not written in here, but the contract would be for 1 year with the capability of having a renewal. My question for this, and I'll introduce it to the council and the mayor, is our current contractor is D&D Tree Farms. They're the ones that we have been using, so SFM Services is a new vendor. My concerns were of how different. I mean, they're looking to do this job, and we're looking to award them to do this job at almost half of what our current vendor's doing. So I did have some questions as to the quality to make sure that we're going to get the same level of services. So obviously this is something, if they can do it at that level, I mean, that's great. That's saving the city almost 50% of what we were currently doing. But this is something that we're going to have to keep a close eye on, but we do have the option. It's only 1 year, and we do have the option of coming back and not renewing it if we feel that it's not done at the same quality that we're used to.
What I think is very interesting, too, is this is exactly why we do go out to bid. This is why when you are spending city dollars and city taxpayer dollars, that periodically you do send this out to bid, because I took a look at this in comparison, and I was shocked. This is half of what we were paying. So it really is, and I remember right before the election, we had a discussion on doing an automatic renewal on the previous vendor, and they were going to guarantee their price for like the next 5 years, and I objected to that, as well as did most of council, because this is the process, is going out to bid, giving other people in the community an opportunity to bid when somebody has basically had that job for a certain amount of years, but because look at the difference in the cost. So this is part of the process, and I'm very pleased about that. And Ms. Lopez, you're exactly right. If the job is up to par, then we're in really good solid footing.
Okay, Mr. Ivey, you have...
I just want to make one correction, because I advised you incorrectly. It's a 2-year.
Oh.
Yeah, not a 1 year, so that's my error. It's a 2-year plan, which I advised you it was 1. It's really a 2-year with a 2-year...
Do we have a termination clause?
Yes.
I'm
sorry, Councilwoman Waldman and then Vice Mayor Burgess.
Yes, thank you. I'm a little, maybe a little more familiar with this than I want to be, because my son is in this business in another city. So I was very concerned. I was very happy to see the low price that was bid, and I do know that their reputation is good, the SFM. They currently do the city of Coral Gables, and it's a beautiful, beautiful city. But what concerned me the most was the cost of plants. For example, SFM, the 18 to 22 feet palms are $1,200 each, whereas Vila & Son, the 18 to 22 foot palms are $180 each. And we go on. For example, Superior, where the palms were $1,041, and Valley Crest, they were $619. And again, I talked to Brian today, and I asked him, how can you guesstimate how many palms or how many plants we may have to replace? You never know. Do you know something I don't know about?
If I can address that, Councilwoman Waldman.
I have some more moments, but yes, please.
Okay. I had the same questions. I just didn't see how there could be that much of a difference in trees and the price of them. I thought, does everybody just go to the same market? But as it turns out, Vila & Son has their own tree farm. SFM would have to buy it from another vendor. Now, the city manager did advise me that we have the option of going with another vendor when we want to replace trees. So that is an option that we have. We don't have to use SFM to replace our trees when they're needed.
Well, I just want to make sure that that's in the contract, because when Brian and I talked about it today, I asked him to please make sure it's specified in the contract. And we might even want to consider the impatiens and all the flowers and everything else, because, you just don't know what kind of cost factor they're going to be bringing in. Because it doesn't include any of that, does it, Brian?
Ms. Wallen, members of council, there is actually, we have in our bid document, there is a clause here for method of award. And actually, Richard, if I have anything on this as well.
Right, we have the ability to reject a portion of a bid or accept a portion of a bid, and what's being done here is we're accepting the services portion of the bid, and then the city has the option then to, well, if we want to go purchase plants or other landscaping materials, to go in another direction.
Also, Ms. Lobos, you are correct as far as obviously where some people have tree farms and some people would have to actually go out and purchase the items themselves and then bring it in as a cost plus to themselves. So those variables, but it's not really a strict requirement of this bid. It's more of as needed for when cars hit the tree or something, we're going to replace them or something of that nature.
The other thing I think that I would add is that the manager advised me that there will be a 30-day termination. So if their price is too good to be true, really, and they're not doing a good job, we have the ability to terminate them.
Would we know within 30 days?
We can terminate them on 30 days' notice.
Oh, on 30 days' notice. Mr. Ivey, before any other questions are asked, since this is a 2-year contract, are we locked in at this price for 2 years?
Yes, we are. We are locked in for 2 years, and then actually with the 2-year renewals, their price will be the same as well. They won't renegotiate that pricing either. At that point, it will be a mutual agreement to renew. If they don't renew at that point, then we walk away and they walk away as well. From there, also, this is also a bonded job. I mean, so there is bid bonds in place. There's also a performance bond in place as well. If they don't perform, we have those mechanisms that we can actually use to supplement that, the cost increase.
Vice Mayor Burgess, did you have a question?
No, my questions have been answered. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, Councilman McCormick?
How are we going to monitor the work that they're doing, the productivity and the manicures of there, if it's efficient?
By level of complaints. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Staff?
Yeah, we have, right now that comes under Parks and Rec, and Parks and Rec will be monitoring the cuts. You know, if you'll remember in our budget, we did have fewer cuts this year than we had in the past because of the tax issues. You know, we had to lower the
Is it monitored on a monthly basis or bi-weekly basis?
Well, we're going to do it on a daily basis. I mean, we have a cut schedule. We'll know what sites they're going to be cutting when. We'll go out there and supervise it, make sure it looks good, make sure it's taken care of, if they've edged, weed, and things like that. Our park supervisor is very experienced in that. I'll be following up with him, and we'll make sure they do a good job. And we're going to be monitoring them very tightly because we realize that their experience is a little iffy compared to some of the people in the past, so we're going to be on top of it.
Thank you.
Ms. Lobos?
Yes, Councilwoman Walton?
Omar, will you also be monitoring the cost of the plants? Because springtime, we usually go in and we start, putting in our flowering.
Yes, definitely. If the cost is way too much, we already planned that if we have to run another vendor, we will.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
And motion passed. Thank you.
Item C.
Okay, we go to item C, tab 16. And this is the purchase of Motorola XTS 1500 handheld and mobile radios.
I'll move it. Second it with questions.
Thank you. Mr. Ivey, can you do the background again, please?
Again, these are, we're purchasing 105 portable and 165 mobiles for the police department. The current radios we have are older models. We've had them for a number of years. Motorola is going to discontinue the maintenance of these particular radios, so we are upgrading the communications, the mobile communications of the police department.
Thank you, Chief.
Sample.
Now, the funding for this, I might add,
very important.
We're going to need the chief's letter, but is coming out of forfeiture because this has not been funded as a budgeted item. So we're going to need a letter, Alice, when you approve this. I know you did, but a letter, a standard letter for forfeiture that you approve this with council. But it's coming out of forfeiture funds.
Thank you.
That's right.
Vice Mayor Burgess, you had questions?
Yeah, I've got a couple. I noticed in here, in the notes, it says that we anticipate a major technology change in the next few years. And therefore, I'm just wondering if we, and I know firsthand that we need radios because I did a ride-along the other night and we couldn't speak from Southwest 18th Street to a guy at the command center hardly with a handheld radio. So I know the need of them, so I'm all in favor. I just want to make sure that we're not going to buy and do this expenditure, such a large expenditure, and then in 2 years have these become obsolete or become not supported. So I was wondering, one, if Motorola can't give us an answer, I know that they're a fine piece of equipment. Is there a second vendor that does something that could give us an answer and say, well, in 6 months, we're going to have that technology that you're looking for?
Yes, Vice Mayor Burgess, I actually had the same question for the city manager. I did ask if Motorola couldn't give us a timeline. I wanted to know what other cities did. Was it common practice to lease this equipment or to purchase them? And at that time, the city manager told me that the common practice is to go ahead and purchase them. I feel comfortable that we are making a good purchase. I mean, the handheld radio, the technology is not going to be that drastic, where we're not going to have compatible equipment to be able to still use for the next short period of time. If you want to add to that, Chief Bull, or
I think
Craig?
Brian is going to add working on this project.
Ms. Lobos, members of council, yes, as far, and also Mr. Burgess, Councilmember Burgess, the technology on this, actually I was talking to Motorola on this with the police department. One of the things, they did look at the option of doing a lease, like if you had a 3-year turnaround, to do it at $1 or to turn it back in and be able to prorate it so you could trade it in. They couldn't guarantee the technology would change, and they said actually the type of system that we're using is not going to change for 5 to 6 years. By that time, you're already looking at technology changes at that. The really technology thrust is going to be in the 800 megahertz, where like the Nextel systems, where the bandwidth on those are becoming so crowded that they have to do something different. We don't have to at this point. So that was really where they were leading us and saying that the system that we're using is not going to see leaps and bounds like that, so we won't be outdated at that point.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure, that we weren't going to get into something and then in 3 years Motorola will come out and say, well, we're not going to support what you have and have something better that, because of course we want to keep the police force on the cutting edge with all the best stuff down here so we get the best service, but I just wanted to make sure that they didn't.
That was definitely a consideration with Lieutenant Ray as well, working on this project with the chief and everybody else, just the same. They had that considerations in place.
Thank you.
And Vice Mayor Burgess, if I may add, I also understand that we've spent some money on upgrading and maintaining the current radios, so they've gone through their period of repair and upgrades and maintenance, and so it's now time to replace them with new ones. I'll entertain them. Actually, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
And it passed. Thank you.
One last item. Item D.
Okay, here we have the purchase of installation of fencing for Public Works off-site location in the Homestead Park of Commerce. It's been properly moved. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Ivey, do the background again, please.
Yes, we mentioned earlier Mayor Roscoe Warren Park going to be built, and that's previously where we had storage area for Public Works to have aggregate and fill, sand that they use doing road work and doing other work within the city. They're losing that site, and when we kept a portion of the Park of Commerce and built the substation, electric substation, we also acquired some land for the Public Works to move over and be able to store that same aggregate and material at that site. This is in preparation of providing some security around that site when we leave that aggregate there, that it stays there, and to prevent people coming in and tainting the fill by giving illegal dumping, by doing illegal dumping.
Thank you. And if I can just add to that, some of my questions, I wanted to know whether we had problems in the past in securing equipment. And I also learned that this is going to be permanent fencing, and the city manager is going to look into the aesthetics of the fencing, maybe having those green strips on the fence so that people can't look in to see what is being housed there. And he also advised, and I agree with him, that we probably would not want to keep too much equipment there, that we'd want the equipment to go back to the yard, just because it's safer there. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
And it's passed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Lobos. Before I open up, we're going to have
comments from council, I want to let everybody know that I will be discussing the Northwest seat item at next Tuesday's council meeting under my business, so I will be discussing that next week under my business. And like to let everybody know as well, I have a daughter in labor in the hospital right now, so I'll be heading on over there. And so I won't have my comments too long tonight. Ms. Sierra, any comments for council?
Real quick, we had a organizational education committee meeting on Thursday, and I'm very happy to announce that there is so much interest from the community involved in what is education. Some people think of education as just what affects our children, and when we really think about it, for those people that have told me in the past, oh, I don't have kids, why should I care about education? Well, if you are a business owner or property owner, education is very important to you as well, because it does affect our property values as well as our businesses and who wants to come down to Homestead to be a part of our community. I see wonderful things in the future. I have many different projects coming online, and I can't wait to start sharing that with you once the committee is actually put together. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Burgess.
I just want to thank Julio and the manager for their quick action in taking care of our sidewalk over there on the east side of town. I know that's been going back and forth for some while now, and I know that the neighbors and everybody over on that side of town are very happy to see that, so thank you to you and your staff for working so hard to get that taken care of for us. I also asked Julio, I noticed the other night when I was doing the police ride-along, the Christmas tree is still lit up. So somebody forgot to pull the plug. So I just want to verify, maybe when we go out tonight, that somebody's pulled the plug finally for us.
Just January.
But I'll keep it short since you're off to the hospital. And I just wanted to say that to the chief, I met one of his outstanding men the other night and did a ride-along, which was very interesting, Elvis Ackerman, and I rode with him the other night on what he called the slowest night in a year. So that was a good thing, I guess. So he said it was boring, and I said, that's fine. I don't need to be too much action out here. But I met several other officers, and you've got quite a staff there that you should be very, very proud of. So thank you.
I'm looking to go on a ride as well, and I told him I wanted to go on the late night when there's the most action. Ms. Lobos. Thank you, Mr. Burgess.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Well, I presented for the first time today from the Finance Committee. Next time I'll have more time to review the items on the agenda, but I did want to say that I did meet with Deputy City Manager and the City Manager, and kind of like the focus of this committee, I wanted to, the first item that I wanted to look at was the RFP and bid process. I want to make sure that the process maintains its integrity. For example, at the landscaping award that we looked at tonight, I just want to study and review how close the bids come to the actual cost, and so that's something that the Finance Committee will be focusing on, as well as the budgets that each department will be putting forth versus their performance from last year, how close the actuals came close to what they had planned on doing. And all of this is in preparation for some tough financial years that we have ahead of us. We need to be able to eliminate, prioritize, and so in order to prepare for that, we don't want it to be a last-minute effort. We want to be prepared in case we need to cut or we need to move some things around, that we'll know what department can be cut and which ones need increased funding. So that's the purpose and the goal of that. Aside from that, I'm just glad the 2-3 weeks that we had off were very much needed. And so we're back re-energized and excited again to conduct city business. Thank you.
Councilman McCormick?
I have no comments at this time, Mayor Bill.
Thank you. Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes, thank you. I've missed everybody. I think tomorrow it'll be a month since we've had a meeting, so I can't believe to say it, but I'm glad to be back. I'm also very excited because on February 2nd, we're going to have our inaugural bike ride on the trailway that we've been working on since 2001. Kind of kept it a secret until we knew for sure it was going to happen. It's going to be a 42-mile bike ride. You can rest assured I will not be doing the 42 miles. It's going to be a fat tire bike ride because, of course, we don't have it paved yet, but we're just so excited. I mean, we've been working on it. We're just so excited. There'll be a 17-mile ride, a 24-mile ride, and, of course, for the diehards, a 42-mile ride. And I don't think I have enough padding to do it. But it's going to be very, very fun. And I know it's the same day as the chili cook-off, but what we're going to do, we're going to start early in the morning, and we're going to end up over there at the chili cook-off around 3 o'clock. I've got it all planned. We're going to be in... we're hopefully going to be in Losner Park. We're going to, I don't know about Losner Park, but at the the busway, we're going to have a stop there and have a water break. And so I've got to meet with Yvonne and the downtown and the chamber, but I'm just very excited to be able to announce it, and I want to thank all the people who have been helping to put this together. You know, when we came out with the We Believe slogan, they took it to heart and they really believe, and I thank them. My hat's off to them. I've been really busy. I've had the distinct pleasure and privilege to meet with all the candidates last week, and I thank you. I know I see several of your faces here tonight. I can tell you there were some very, very qualified candidates, and Mayor Bill, I'm so happy that you said you were going to meet and to discuss this next council meeting, because I think we're ready, and I just want to put it on the record that I can vote for several of these candidates, so I'm ready. Thank you.
Thank you. One other item that I just remembered when she said the chili cook-off. I had an idea for this council. Yes. I thought it would be really neat if we entered the chili cook-off, and with my recipe, the mayor's chili, and we would enter the mayor's chili, but that means my fellow councilman, you need to help me cook. Yeah. So, unless you were going to be a judge, then no, the judging wasn't for the chili, the judging was for the, you're not off the hook. Yeah. So, get with us and let's talk about whoever has the biggest chili, but I think we're going to enter. I love making chili. I'm not a great cook, but the one thing I think I do well is chili, and I call it the really, really good but not so famous chili. So, I would like to enter the mayor's chili in the chili cook-off, but so from the city of Homestead, it'll be a city of Homestead entry. So, I guess I didn't ask, I just kind of told. Anyway, with no further business to attend to, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.